I'm Dennis Anderson along with Julie Zenner, and here's what's coming up on Almanac North.
The start of the school year is right around the corner. We will talk with Duluth School Superintendent John Magas about the return to the classroom.
We'll have a report from Sweden tonight on how its political system differs from ours here at home.
And then WDSE producer Megan McGarvey will join us live in the studio to talk about her Swedish journey, part of a Duluth Sister City exchange.
Those stories and voices of the region coming up right now on Almanac North. Hello and welcome to Almanac North. Thank you very much for watching. And Julie, hard to believe this is actually the last weekend of August. Summer is just going too quickly.
It always goes quickly, but this year seems like it just flew right by.
Everybody I talked to says the same thing.
Started late.
I guess it did. We had bad weather early on. Let's begin with the headlines.
All right. Thank you, Denny. Cirrus Aircraft has a deal to purchase the former AAR aircraft maintenance facility for $1 from Duluth's Economic Development Authority, subject to a vote by the City Council. The property is valued at nearly $10 million, but Cirrus will invest at least $7 million in the base and hire an additional 80 employees. Cirrus is the largest manufacturer in the city with more than 1,200 employees. The vacant maintenance facility is owned by DITA and costs the city $57,000 a month to maintain.
Duluth's Lake Walk may become a bit more enjoyable for pedestrians following a vote of the City Council Monday. You see, the council voted to establish a 10-mile-an-hour speed limit on the Lake Walk between Canal Park and the Rose Garden. Now, that speed limit will apply to bicycles, electric bikes, and scooters, which have been numerous along the Lake Walk this summer.
The Lake Superior Dragon Boat Festival returns to Barker's Island in Superior this weekend after a 2-year hiatus due to the COVID pandemic. The opening ceremony is tonight with dragon boat races beginning at 8 a.m. Saturday. The Rotary Club of Superior organizes the event, which has raised more than $1.3 million for charity. And
college students began returning to area campuses this week. UMD students started arriving Wednesday morning with classes beginning on Monday. Students at the College of St. Scholastica and UW Superior have a bit more summer vacation. Classes at those colleges begin after Labor Day.
Students in the Duluth Public School District also begin classes after Labor Day, but a new school district event is scheduled for this coming Monday at Bayfront Park. Unity in the Community will bring together students and their families from across the district school buildings for a fun day at the park. Here to tell us more about that event and the upcoming school year is John Magas, Superintendent of Duluth Public Schools. And Superintendent, welcome. Thanks for making time in what must be a really busy time of the year for you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Let's just start out by talking about this Unity in the Community event. It's something new. What is it going to look like, and what's the goal?
Sure. So this is what we hope will be the first of many Unity in the Community events each year, as a welcome back to school and also an opportunity to really celebrate education as well as the unity amongst all our schools in the community in Duluth. Duluth is one city, one community, and we want to make sure that we're bringing everybody together to celebrate. So it'll be a big fun event down at Bayfront. We'll have bands, we'll have music, we'll have I'll be in a dunk tank. We'll have lots of booths with information, haircuts for kids, free food, all kinds of things. It's going to be really a wonderful opportunity for people to launch the school year all together.
John, as far as the school year is concerned, is there anything new or different this year that people should be aware of?
Well, I think, knock on wood, I think we're really hoping that it's going to be much more of a normal school year as far as COVID and other things go. It seems that that's the direction
back to more norm.
Exactly. So we're looking forward to having. We'll still be practicing some safe standards, but I think that we'll be relatively mask-free, except for people that want to wear them. But it's also going to be a year of intense focus on student learning. Last year we had a very robust strategic operational plan for the year, but much of the work that we were planning to put on place was delayed a bit because of the staffing shortages and other issues.
Speaking of student learning, the Minnesota Department of Education has identified Duluth Public School District as struggling academically, specifically that about 50% of the students in the district are not reading, are not doing math, are not doing science at their grade level. How concerning is that for you?
I think it's always concerning. I think it creates urgency around the work that needs to be done. I think that the schools and districts that were identified were schools that have always had populations that have been historically underserved by schools. So it's up to us as a state and as a country and as a school district to really focus on those schools. It's also important that the state consider what they need to do related to funding. I know that the legislature was considering special session, and it would be really great if they could come back to finish the funding so we could also focus more on those learning gaps.
John, tell us about the new contract approved with the teachers union.
Sure. So that was approved a while back, but we had worked through a 2-year contract with our teachers involving a 2.25 increase in salary for 2 years in a row, as well as some longevity stipends to make sure that we were retaining people and making sure that our staffing levels were remaining good. I think the negotiation process was challenging for many districts last year. I think it's been a very hard time for our teachers, very hard time for educators across the country, and some of the struggles that we saw with the negotiations there were similar here. But this year we're focusing very much on our labor management agreements and our work with our various bargaining units.
So are you retaining people?
Yeah, we are working very hard on the retaining issues. We're in a much better spot than we were last year with recruiting and retaining, but we could always use more. And I think that's something really important for our public to know. You might not be considering being a substitute or being a bus driver or something like that, but it can also be viewed as contributing to the civic value of the community, helping out the schools even just for a few months.
The school board recently approved a purchase agreement for the sale of Central High School. That has to be a huge relief for you.
Yes, I think it really indicates the direction of the district, both financially and as far as being able to support the longevity of some of the buildings we have in the downtown region, like the historic old Central building. We are going to be building a district services center in the back area of the property, the less desirable, not the great views of Lake Superior, but it's still going to be a great place for us to support our schools. And that really will bring more resources to our students and allow us to have great economic development there for the city as well.
With COVID still alive in the community, are extracurricular activities pretty much back to normal at the schools?
Yes, they're primarily back. Some of the extra activities that we've had for community are a little bit struggling just because of the lack of custodial support that we have right now. So once again, staffing, just like we see in restaurants around town and things like that, it's hard for us to have those same levels of workers there that allow us to open up our schools to community organizations.
All right, well, thank you for coming in. Remember, Unity in the Community event at Bayfront on Monday, and you're in the dunk tank at what time?
Soon after 4. I'll be talking at 4, and I assume I'll be in the dunk tank right after.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. My pleasure.
With local election season ramping up in the region, Duluth's sister city, Växjö, Sweden, is preparing for its own elections. While on her trip overseas, producer Megan McGarvey spoke with local politicians on the workings of their electoral process.
My name is Björn Kleinhans, and I'm a member of the left party in Sweden called Vänsterpartiet.
My name is Malin Laber, and I'm a deputy mayor here in Växjö, and I represent the Social Democrats.
My name is Isaac Folker. I work for the Swedish Green Party as a spokesperson for our region here in Kronoberg.
We have 8 political parties in the city council and the same amount of parties and the same parties in the national parliament. So to make it very easy, compared to the United States, you could say that all political parties in Sweden are parties working with gender, equal opportunities, and more or less social democratic.
The election is September 11th, and for the local platform here in Växjö, we're focusing on a few different things. School, We want to put more money into schools and find a way to redistribute the teachers, the money, the assets, so that the schools that have the most difficulties can actually get the most help, so the pupils actually get the help they need to be able to manage through their school years.
Yeah, we stand for climate justice, and we make a lot of effort to be as climate and environmental friendly as we can with Swedish politics. And we stand for human values, we are very open towards refugees coming here, and we want to take in more, and we want to help people. We stand for a lot of international help initiatives.
For us, the care about the elder and the children is the most important things. It's very important for us that the children can manage school and that they can have a hope for the future.
In the Swedish election, we run for our local parliaments, where right now we have about 3 seats in our local parliaments here in Växjö. So that's what we are running against. So we want to take more seats in the local parliaments. We want to become one of the leading parties, where we go in a coalition with our different parties, and we get to do stuff together, and we get to more green voters, and we get more green subjects on the agenda.
In Sweden, you don't vote for a candidate, you vote for a party list. So the party sets the list. So you take your ballot and vote for a party, one list for the county, one for the city, and one for the parliament. You can cross one candidate, so you could influence a little bit about which politicians should be elected. So the system differs a lot. You can't be elected as an individual. You must belong to a political party and to be in a party list. For example, the mayor is number 1 on the list now in my party, and as a former mayor and now Lord Mayor, I'm number 7 on the list.
In Sweden we have our system, and I think there is a lot of different systems, but here in Växjö I think it's very good that we have a good cooperation between the oppositions and the majority, but also that we have to cooperate to have majority. So it's not the biggest party that are the one who decides, because we need a majority. So therefore there is sometimes lots of small parties that do coalitions.
During the periods when there's not an election, of course we have to do compromises and work together a lot. Sometimes we even do a budget together with the Social Democrat Party that is right of us. But during the election, we stand alone as a party and try to put forward our policies and our ideas for the city and for the community.
We don't have a age limit or an age gap for when you can start becoming an active member of the party. In Sweden, you are able to vote when you are 18, so that's when a lot of people start engaging with politics for real. And you can engage with politics from when you're 18. You can stand on our lists, and you can get elected to the local parliaments or the national parliaments, or even the regional parliaments.
I entered politics in 1974 when I was a high school student. Then I was elected to the city council, and I've been a city councillor since 1974. And I hope to continue at least 25 or 30 years more.
Many young people are engaged in politics and know a lot about politics, but they don't want to engage with the conventional parties. So it's hard getting young people engaged with politics, but they want to, and they have a lot of passions, and we politicians have to take those up on the agenda and up on the tables.
It's easy to vote, and you could do it on the forehand also. You can do it by if you're a resident in Sweden or a Swedish citizens, you can actually vote from France or Argentina also. So it's very simple to take part of the democratic process in Sweden, I would say.
So it's different a lot of in European countries also. Swedish politics are very open. We are always for the voters. You run for the voters, you don't run for yourself, and you don't run for corporations, you don't run for side groups. You run for the voters and what they are actually interested in.
And joining us now in the studio is Almanac North associate producer Megan McGarvey, fresh from her trip to Sweden. Welcome, Megan. Are you still jet lagged? Or?
A little bit.
A little bit, huh? Talk to us about this sister city relationship with Växjö. Just how active is it?
Oh, it's very active. This was actually our first trip since the pandemic. They had to freeze it for the past 2 years, but we've had Växjö as a sister city since I believe 1987, and so they've been our sister city for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm. And you were invited to go along by the delegation. What is the purpose of this particular trip and your role in going along?
The purpose for this particular trip was to kind of focus on sustainability here. Mm-hmm. In 2018, Växjö was called the greenest city in Europe, and so we wanted to really investigate like what were their practices, what can we take home back from that trip for sure to bring to Duluth.
Mm-hmm. So what did you bring back home?
Well, me personally, I brought back a couple tours and a lot of footage back from our tours at the sewage water treatment plant, along with getting to see just the recreation of how they were able to really bring back some of the polluted lakes that surrounded the city.
Mm-hmm. Were there any kind of aha moments for you or things that really struck you as unique or different that they're doing?
Oh my goodness, the big aha moment was that they use biofuel in their buses, in their city buses. So they have these paper bags that they have all of their citizens use, and you put your trash in those bags, and those that trash is then composted and then made into biofuel for the buses to run. So it's literally waste immediately brought back into the back into circulation, and they're not using fossil fuels.
Mm-hmm.
So when will Duluth be hosting the counterparts from Sweden?
In 2024, actually. They do sister city exchanges every 2 years.
Mm-hmm. For people who haven't been to Växjö, what were your impressions? What was it like?
Oh my goodness, it felt very similar to Duluth actually. Mm-hmm. It's very walkable. They had a lake walk right there that I was able to rent a bike and ride around, and it was one of those things where it felt very much like Minnesota, very much like Duluth. The people were also incredibly kind, and anytime they would talk to me in Swedish, they were very nice. When I was like, oh, Engelska, and then they would switch to English, which was very kind of them too. So.
You think, is Sweden ahead of us when it comes to green energy?
Oh, I believe absolutely. Like there are definitely things that we are implementing here in the US, but I think specifically Växjö, Sweden, there is a large buy-in from the fellow citizens. Like they are all on the same page as far as like how to take care of the community, and they all are every single person I spoke with believed in climate change and noted that this is real, and they wanted to work against it as a community.
Mm-hmm. What was it like being a videographer there? Are the rules different? Anything that you had to learn along the way? Oh
my goodness, it was definitely different, but in a very positive way. In Sweden, they have a Right to Knowledge Act where journalists have actually a lot of freedom. So anytime I actually approached someone that I interviewed for a segment, I would give them a release form, because in the US, that's kind of like what you do to make sure they have an appearance release and we have permission. But every single time I would ask them to sign it, they were like, what is this? And they didn't think that it was fully necessary, because they trusted, as they trust in their journalists over there, like, we are fine with you documenting this. So that was super unique.
Megan, what was expected of you as a delegate to Sweden?
What was expected was mainly to watch and listen, and to really take in the experience and learn something. The reason why sister city relationships happen is to learn from the other community and to gain empathy and understanding. And the whole reason Eisenhower built it was to promote peace and to promote understanding across oceans. And so that was the main part. But then my part for WDSC was to film everything.
We'll be seeing some of that video over time, will we not?
Oh, yes.
I hope you brought back a lot.
What are some of the things that we'll see coming up?
You will see, like I mentioned before, the sewage water treatment plant. We were given a very in-depth inside look there. You will also see on some of our other channels, I was able to interview some individuals from the Sami nation over there, and so I got to learn a lot about those indigenous peoples.
And with that, we have to wrap it up. Megan McGarvey, who just came back from Sweden, associate producer here for Almanac North. Thanks, Megan.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
Thank you, Megan. It's time now for Voices of the Region. Each week we hear from an area journalist about stories they're following. This time our guest is Aarron Brown, author and columnist from Itasca County, who spoke with us using his phone during a power outage.
Yes, we had a very active and busy primary election here on the Iron Range. There were two big races that I think were interesting to follow. The first was the DFL primary in the Senate District 7 race. Ben DiNucci was the DFL and union-endorsed candidate facing Kim McLaughlin, who works actually here at Minnesota North College, where I am in Hibbing. And so there was a very close race there, and it wasn't necessarily predicted to be so. Kim McLaughlin jumped in the race late on the last day of filing, and it wasn't clear exactly what her outcome would be. So it ended up being much closer than people predicted, just 41 votes between DiNucci and her. DiNucci did win the election. Ben DiNucci really relied on his support in Itasca County. Kim McLaughlin actually carried St. Louis and Aiken County portions of the district, including big wins in Hibbing and Chisholm. So it just shows there is a close race there, and maybe some sorting out for the DFL to do as they're in this new era of a more competitive election. Now Ben DiNucci will face Rob Farnsworth in the general election. Rob Farnsworth, the Republican from Hibbing. That's expected to be one of the close races in this control of the state Senate. Also an interesting race, Senate District 3, which is the big Arrowhead district, including Cook Lake and parts of St. Louis and Couchiching County, currently held by Senator Tom Bach, who's retiring. There was a Republican primary, which is not something we normally follow closely on the range, but Republicans are now competitive here. In fact, I would estimate it's about a 50-50 region, as near as I can tell. And in the Republican primary, Babbitt Mayor Andrea Zupancic was facing former Iron Mining Association lobbyist and director Kelsey Johnson, kind of a style contest between Johnson, the kind of the inside media friendly type of candidate, and Zupancic, the local elected official. Zupancic, probably best known as one of the mayors that endorsed Donald Trump in the 16 and 20 presidential races. Well, Zupancic won big, actually. It wasn't that close, and maybe that's the interesting part of the news. Zupancic carried big, and she'll face Grant Haushold in the DFLer, and that's going to be one of the other close races for control of the state Senate in Minnesota. So two very close races, both centered on the Iron Range. The last time we talked, U.S. Steel had announced a $150 million investment in a direct reduced pellet plant on the range. It was either going to be in Mountain Iron or Keewatin. Now we know it's going to be in Keewatin. It'll be at Keewatin Taconite. They're already hiring and planning, working on the expansion of the taconite plant to include a different kind of pellet, a pellet that feeds into electric arc furnaces that is part of the direct reduced iron process. It's a complicated multi-step process, but just know that they're making higher grade iron pellets as part of futuristic, newer forms of making steel. Good news for the region in that it involves there being more value added iron production and new age stuff that's going to help keep some of these facilities open. But it's only the beginning. There's a lot of new investment, new technology that could bring the region even further along, and I guess we'll wait and see how these efforts go. The Canisteo pit is an existential threat to the city of Beauvais and Marble and some of the other small towns on the western Mesabi. And all you have to know about it is that it's a former iron mine that filled up with water, as they do because they're pumped out when they're mined, and then the water comes back in. And when the town was built along with the mine, the town might find itself near the water table. And so this is what's been the problem at the Canisteo. And there was mitigation efforts that were funded before, but now $710,000 of Iron Range Resources money, that's iron mining taxation money for the most part, is now going into pumping out the pit again to try to make a permanent solution. That's good news. That starts October 1st. Certainly, if you have a basement in the city of Beauvais, you're happy about that. But really, the thing to follow, I think, is that these kinds of pits are all over the range. And as mines close, as one day they all will, the region has to face the fact that it's got to do a lot of pumping. Right now, mines do the pumping. But as the water fills in, there are going to be roads and towns and public things that are going to be threatened by the water. So this is something that you really need to follow to see, where the future of the region goes and what kind of infrastructure work might need to be done.
All right, thanks, Aarron. We're out of time, but you can keep up with our latest updates by following Almanac North on Facebook and Twitter. Visit the WDSE website for program updates and more information about the station, and download the PBS video app for on-demand viewing of Almanac North and your favorite PBS programs. And Julie, I hope everyone can get out and enjoy this last weekend of August. Fall is right around the corner.
Fall is always beautiful, but these last few weeks and days of summer are precious.
They're special, aren't they?
They are.
They truly are. Thanks to our guests and the crew in the studio with Julie Zenner. I'm Dennis Anderson. Good night, everybody, and be kind.